We're here at Arundel Castle at the medieval fair. We have music too. We got a map of the grounds. We're just waiting for the main rooms to open, and while we do that, we're gonna go around the stands. They have food, they have medieval souvenirs and jewelry, things like that. So we're gonna have a look around. It was really easy to get our tickets because we paid for them online and then we just had to collect them. It's £23 per ticket for the castle and the grounds, and he gave us access to the medieval fair too, so quite good value.
Medieval themed fairs are now held all over the world, attracting tourists and locals alike, commemorating the past and celebrating old traditions. Medieval themed fairs provide a good source of entertainment, but they can also be highly educational. At Arundel, each stand has an expert that can tell you about different aspects of medieval life, from sword making to cooking.
We already learned some pretty impressive facts. So the first one, we learned about bow making and how you need a special wood for it, but because the certain tree doesn't grow easily in England, but it's abundant in France, to figure out the cheap way of importing it and make like a massive amount of bows to equip an army, what they did, so apparently in the Middle Ages, people would import wine from France. You had importers, and the tax was to bring this special wood. So for every barrel of wine that you brought, you had to import a certain amount of that wood, and that would be your tax for importing wine and then selling the wine in this country.
The term fair comes from the Latin word feria, meaning holy day. Each feria was a day when large numbers of people would assemble for worship, and is exactly how fairs got started. Medieval fairs were mostly held for economic reasons, and it was a main way of trading goods. A medieval fair was a huge open gathering of buyers and sellers, held mostly on a holiday or on a religious anniversary. These fairs were related to the church, hence they were given immunity from violence, so that everyone could participate without any fear. They required a special license for trade granted by the king or parliament, and they represented the greatest event in economic life of a medieval town. During this time, merchants from all over the region, country, or even from abroad gathered in the town to buy or sell products. Different stalls were established with all kinds of things for sale, such as handicrafts, perfumes, lovely wood carvings, furs, and fresh produce. These things were considered luxuries and were mostly bought by rich people, such as nobles, knights, and their ladies. There were also spices, cheese, flour, wine, and meat. These things were mostly bought by peasants and artisans. Stalls were also established for selling snacks and small pies, which people ate when they got hungry, similar to street food stalls today.
We also learned about food. So as you know, after the Norman conquest, there were Norman influences in England, and we learned about a Christmas meal. It's apple and carrot fritters, and common folk and nobility ate it all the same, with the difference that nobility afforded spices like cardamom, cinnamon, which was very expensive at the time, since I imagine it was imported and common folk couldn't afford it. But everyone ate it all the same, and it was mixed with flour and egg, and then it was fried in a pan over open fire, and then it was served with honey. It sounds like breakfast, what today would be considered a breakfast. Maybe I'm gonna make that next weekend, but certainly interesting.
Sale and barter trades of cattle, horses, sheep, and birds was also done by the people, and even money changing facilities was provided by the money changers who changed foreign coins with the local ones at a cost, of course. There was a lot of entertainment at these fairs, such as jugglers, magicians, and dancing bears, which were very popular in medieval times. There were also mystery plays and traveling entertainers called strolling players who told stories from the Bible. Medieval fairs took place all over Europe. In England, it was only after the Norman conquest that fairs became of capital importance. Records exist of 2,800 grants of franchise markets and fairs between the years 1199 and 1483. In the 12th century, many English towns started to organize annual fairs with the permission of the crown. These fairs were mostly 2 to 3 days long and served the local population.
The next cool thing that we learned is that people had tourneys, and it used to be kind of like friendly almost, even though you could die or like end up being badly injured, like King Henry VIII. Now we're gonna look around to see if we can find some medieval treats that we could have, and then have a look at the fighting. Having some real ale for the first time in a long time. It's gonna go perfectly with our ham and cheese homemade sandwiches.
There's my knight in white armor. If you prefer to be more active and spend less time watching people and more time experiencing new things yourself, you can try axe throwing. The best part was that you have someone teaching you how to throw, and the experience is fully covered by the admission price, so you don't have to pay any additional fees. On a scale from 1 to 10, let me know where you'd rate my first attempt.
Yeah, now throw it. Good, not bad. Take a half step backwards, yeah, there. Just here. Didn't hit quite right. Oh, right on the stab. That's where my hand is. There we go.
Oh.
So far.
Oh.
Castle, this is now a three-nations tournament. Real swords, real armour, real weighted weaponry as well. And cheer!
Fighting was an important part of life in medieval times, mainly out of practical reasons, but it was also a means of entertainment. People often got involved in amicable fighting, one of the most famous one being jousting. At Arundel, you can see such fights take place using real swords and real armor. The medieval fair at Arundel gives us a taste of what a medieval fair might have been like. But it is important to remember that medieval fairs laid the foundation for modern day fairs, the most common being farmer markets, street food fairs, and cultural festivals. What fairs have you visited, and which one was your favorite? If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with your fellow travel buddies. I think you would also enjoy my Arundel Castle travel documentary. Click on the video and see you there.
Where do you want to go, left or right?